Hey guys, it's Barry, and before this video starts, I just want to mention that this channel just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, so I want to say thank you guys to the subscribers and viewers for liking and viewing my content. If you're not subscribed and or a new viewer and you like fish tanks, well, you're definitely in the right spot. We got freshwater and saltwater fish tanks, so for today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys kind of a tour of my 36-gallon Bowfront aquarium, so let's dive right into the video. Alright guys, here is the tank. As you can see, it is very heavily planted. It's been set up for around 3 years now, and there's quite a large variety of fish and plants in here. Now, probably the most noticeable thing about this tank as you walk up to it is that there's not a filter. There used to be a hang-on back filter right here, but I did end up taking it off just because it was too loud. So this tank hasn't had a filter for just about a year now, and the tank seems to be doing just fine without a filter. The only downside is there's just not a lot of flow in the tank. I was running a sponge filter for a while back there, but I decided to take it out as well, and I just left the sponges over here in the corner. So like I said, I have quite a bit of variety of fish in here. Right here is a giant danio. I only have one of them in the tank, but I do have other species of danios. Right here is a zebra danio. I have 3 of those. And right here is a long-finned leopard danio, and I have 2 of those. I also have a black skirt tetra right there, only 1 of those. I used to have quite a few more, but they just kind of died out throughout the years. And back there, I have some type of gourami. I think it's like a honey sunset thick lip gourami. It tends to chase all the other fish around the tank sometimes. And probably the prettiest fish in the tank are these 2 turquoise rainbow fish. I've had them for about 1.5 years, and they haven't outgrown this tank yet. I was really expecting them to grow pretty fast, but they have stayed relatively the same size. These guys definitely require a bigger tank, but since they're juveniles right now and pretty small, they can handle this tank just fine. I did used to have a Siamese algae eater in here, but literally about a week ago, he jumped out of the hole back here where the filter was, and I found him dead and dried on the floor, so that was really sad. And hopefully in the next few weeks I'll go to the fish store or order some more Siamese algae eaters online, because as you can see, some of these plants up here are starting to get a little bit of algae on it, which is not very good. Also in this tank I have 3 coolie loaches and 4 autocinkless catfish. There's one back there just chilling on the glass eating some algae. And that is all of the fish that I have in the tank. I think that's a total of 17 if I counted right. I also have quite a big variety of snails in here. Right here are Malaysian trumpet snails. I also have some ram's horn snails and some bladder snails in here as well. And that does it for all of the livestock in the tank. And for the plants in this tank, as you can tell, I have quite a few, and they're all super simple plants to grow. I have an Amazon sword right here with the big leaves, and this kind of tall and skinny plant right here is jungle val. And right next to it, these kind of lighter green skinny ones are dwarf sage, and they've just recently started to take off in the tank. You can see they send these little runners right here and just grow a new plant. Here's a new plant growing right here, and they're just kind of taking over the tank right now. I also have a crypt right here, which isn't doing the best, and I think that's just because the substrate doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. Some pogostemon, which is this plant right here. I've got quite a few stems in here, and it grows pretty slowly just because it's a little bit lower light. I have a few stems of bacopa, which is right there. Some java fern in the back. There's some more right there. And I have some huge Marimo moss balls. There's one right there tucked in behind the wood. And then over here is the biggest one. I don't know if you can tell how big that is, but it's huge. It's probably about the size of my hand. I also have another plant. I think it's called a pongeton, which is this kind of broader leaf plant right there. And it's similar to a lily pad, as it just kind of sends a little leaf up from all the way from the bottom. I have a few more over here, and that gets me to the main plant in this tank. All of the stuff you see right here is Alodia, except for this stuff right back there, that kind of fuzzy looking plant, that's hornwort. And Alodia and hornwort are definitely my 2 favorite plants, just because they grow super fast and they fill in space super fast. And Alodia is definitely the dominating plant in this tank. I have it literally everywhere. I also have this nice looking pinkish plant in here, which I don't really know the name of, but I'm pretty sure it's a really common plant. And just about every month I have to go in there and trim back all of the plants because The Elodia and hornwort in there grow super fast, so I have to trim those back. And for the substrate in this tank, I just have some black gravel that tops off some Eco Complete, and it seems to be working all right. It's definitely not the best substrate to use, but it gets the job done. And I have some manzanita driftwood all throughout the tank, as well as some lava rock. You can see it kind of scattered all throughout the ground, and I have some big pieces in the back. And for lighting this tank, I have this Phoenix Planted Plus. It's underneath this little canopy right here. And I really like this light because it has a little remote and it has a whole bunch of settings. I also have some little LEDs back there just to light up the back. There's 2 sets of them on each side, and I don't usually turn those on during the day, just when I'm filming videos so you can actually see the back of the tank. So the setting that I have for the tank is that I have it come on a nice red color at 6 in the morning, and then at noon it switches to full power just like this, and then it turns off and goes back down to a red color at around 9 or 9:30. And that's usually when I just turn it off. So it has a very long photo period of around, I think, 15 hours, definitely more than 12 hours. And that doesn't seem to be harming the tank at all, except for a little bit of algae over here on the hornwort. And I think that's just because the Siamese algae eater that I had in here that died, and he was keeping the algae under control. So hopefully I'll get some new ones here soon. So the maintenance on this tank is super simple. It's definitely one of the easiest tanks that I have to maintain. Every 2 weeks, I do a 30 or 45% water change on the tank. And about every week, I use some Flourish. I just do a cap full of Flourish, which is a fertilizer just for the plants. And for feeding the tank, I just use some Aquarium Tropical Flakes, which I use on all of my tanks. Also, I forgot to mention, I have a 150 watt heater over here, and I keep the tank around 70, 73 degrees. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the tank. It's a nice little aquarium. It's definitely one of the favorite tanks that I have. So that pretty much sums it up. That's gonna do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks so much again for the 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys on the next video.